What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. I'm gonna do a post-fight reaction to the Vasyl Lomachenko Anthony Crolla fight, and it was exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Anthony Crolla came out like a tomato can and just absorbed a bunch of punches and got knocked out. And really, man, the fight was just a blatant, ridiculous mismatch. And like I said before, I thought it was a mismatch of the year. So far in championship fights, going into it, it was mismatch of the year. In it, it was even more of a mismatch. And, that's all I can really say about it, about the fight itself. Anthony Crolla didn't even try to defend himself, man. It was terrible. It was a terribly blatant mismatch. And I know, so I'm going to give my thoughts about the mismatch, but then the most important thing, or the most interesting thing really for me, was the commentary by Max Kellerman afterwards. Now I'm going to get into that. Max Kellerman, Tim Bradley, Craigle, and Tim Bradley. Before I go into that though, I want to welcome you back to the channel. Subscribers, if you are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and that way you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also you'll know when we do our live streams, Monday through Friday, start time around 11 a.m., between 10:45 and 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And also Sundays, 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time for OG Boxing Talk. Now let's chop it up about this. Okay, Lomachenko was a hell of a fighter, great fighter. Don't let anything that I say in here in any way make it seem as if I am trying to take away from Lomachenko's ability, Lomachenko's standing in boxing. Lomachenko has not lost 1 inch of respect in my mind. I don't think Lomachenko did anything other than what he was supposed to do. And, that's my thing on Lomachenko. Now, at the same time though, man, I did a video before. I said, man, this is the mismatch of the year. Anthony Crolla has absolutely no chance in this fight. If you looked at the fights that he fought before, you realize he just shells up in a high guard and waits for the other guy to stop punching. Lomachenko is not going to stop punching, and Crolla's going to get beat up. That's all it is. It's a ridiculous trash fight mismatch. Now, that is what it was. And Bob Arum, to Bob Arum's credit, said that he thought that the fight got shoved up his words, it got shoved up my backside, and they didn't want that fight. They wanted to fight for a unification fight with Richard Comey, but Richard Comey's hand got hurt, so that wasn't available. Mikey Garcia fought Errol Spence, so that fight, and now he's recovering from that. That's not available. So, they took the mandatory, right? He didn't run away from the mandatory. So I don't fault Bob Arum, because the WBO, I suppose that was a mandatory, said that this guy's a mandatory. That came from some posturing by Eddie Hearn to get this guy up there, man. Anthony Crolla's terrible, man. Anthony Crolla he embarrassed UK boxing. He looked like a bum. He looked like a tomato can. He just shelled up, didn't do anything, and the fight should have never happened. It was ridiculous. Anthony Crolla didn't belong in the ring with the guy. But I'll tell you this too: Anthony Crolla probably wouldn't belong in the ring with Richard Comey. He wouldn't belong in the ring with Mikey Garcia. He probably wouldn't belong in the ring with anybody that is a top contending lightweight. The guy was scared. Was scared out of his mind in that fight, and it was absolutely a ridiculous mismatch. I don't blame Lomachenko for it. I don't blame Bob Arum for it. That was something that was pushed on them. They took the fight. It is what it is. They were trying to get it to go to purse bid to get Lomachenko over to the zone, so that but whatever. Now, the thing that got me though was Max Kellerman, man. Max Kellerman does this really funny thing, man, where he will admit the truth. Take somebody's standpoint, because Andre Ward was like, look, man, he did what he's supposed to do. Andre Ward's like, I'm not going to give him a ton of praise, and I'm not going to make excuses for the fact that he says he's really a 130 pounder, but he fought a guy that was much bigger. It was like Mark Craigle and Max Kellerman were trying to find every way under the sun, any way they could, to give Lomachenko credit for like a spectacular win. It wasn't a spectacular win. It was a whooping on a guy that didn't have a chance. And that's not any type of problem with Lomachenko, but Lomachenko didn't gain any ground in a pound for pound race, their imaginary pound for pound race. He didn't lose any, he didn't gain any. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. This fight doesn't gain Lomachenko any more credibility than when Errol Spence Jr. beat Carlos Ocampo. Okay, it doesn't get him any more credit than when Terrence Crawford beat Julius Ndongo. It was a guy that was just blatantly mismatched. Everybody knew the guy was mismatched when you walked in the door, and since we all knew it was a mismatch when he walked in, it's beyond why Max Kellerman and Mark Krieger would try to make this look like this was some exceptional thing. And to Andre Ward's defense, Andre Ward wasn't trying to have it. Andre Ward is like, look, man, first of all, because one of the excuses they tried to use to try to artificially inflate this performance against a guy that didn't belong in the ring in the first place was to say, hey, Lomachenko, hey, man, he was injured. His right hand was injured. And, this guy's really much bigger than him. And Lomachenko's really a 130-pounder. And Andre Ward is like, look, man, if the guy's fighting at 135 pounds, he's beaten multiple guys at 135 pounds, he's at 135 pounds. That's what he is. If he doesn't want to fight at 135 pounds, go down to 130 pounds, and then we can talk about what he's doing at 130 pounds. But if he's fighting at 135 pounds, if he can beat Jorge Linares, and he can beat Jose Pedraza, and he can beat whatever this man, Crolla is just garbage. He can beat this guy, then hey man, he's a 135 pounder. Don't try to find some way to give him extra credit for it. Lomachenko doesn't deserve he doesn't even need any extra credit for it. What he's done in his career is enough, man. But these guys keep trying to find ways. But the thing to get ways to just add put all kind of gas in the fire, man. All kind of gas in the fire. So when the thing that I was like, thing that I noticed that Kellerman does is he's got this really full of crap way about himself where he will restate your argument, right? He will say, yes, we all know that this is matchmaking. We know that this is matchmaking. We know that they picked, that this is a guy that he was supposed to do this to, that anybody with two eyes could see. But hey, I don't care about it. He's Lomachenko, and this is great. He's extra special. And yes, I think that Terrence Crawford is still the number one pound for pound guy, but the gap just got closed. It just got that much closer. Why? Why would this get him any closer? Him doing something? I guess would he have been any closer? Would he have gotten closer if he pulled somebody's, if he had pulled somebody's nanny out of their house and beat him up in the middle of the ring too? I mean, how big of a mismatch does it have to be before you just call the fight a mismatch and say, hey, Lomachenko did what he's supposed to do without trying to give him a bunch of extra glory? Because you wouldn't be giving somebody else a bunch of extra glory, which is what Andre Ward said. And Andre Ward, because he flipped it, he's like, now look, if Terrence Crawford comes out here and lays an egg next week, are you going to still give him the same credit and say, oh, he's really not a 147 pounder, he's really a 140 pounder. Oh, and he really had his hand was hurt a couple years ago, and go out of the way for that? If he doesn't look against looks good against Amir Khan? Or just come on, man. No, you wouldn't give him any credit for it. So why would you give Lomachenko credit for the fact that he didn't look that good against Jose Pedraza or Jorge Linares? Why would you do that? Right? That's because that's what you just want to do, man. But anyway, man, that's Max Kellerman. But again, I really wanted to make sure that nothing that I said in this video, because I know how sensitive Lomachenko fans can get. Look, man, Lomachenko's a hell of a fighter. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. Congratulations, Lomachenko. Lomachenko said he wanted to fight Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is just coming off of an absolute shellacking in his last fight. So I don't know. And even if he can make it down to 135 pounds, really what's left of Mikey Garcia after the beatdown that Errol Spence Jr. gave him. So, anyway, we'll see what's up. Anyway, I enjoyed the fight and talking to people on the live stream, man. Thank you guys for showing up to the live stream. Anyway, and that's it. I'm out. Peace.